was my major involvement. I walked away from video games about 74, 75, because I got very much involved in interactive video. We tried at the time to enhance video games by using things like video discs to promote better graphics, and that was very difficult, very expensive. What it did lead to was introduction of interactive video using first videotape, then video disc, first analog tapes, and eventually CDs, into training and simulation technology. And finally that wound up in doing things like weapon simulation training and military training. So I got Sanders, my old company, into the interactive video business. We did things like a trainer for the Army where Army engineers in a vehicle like a tank were shooting sectional charges at embankments. And they trained on a radio-like device where they looked through a monocular at a television screen that was playing from a videotape player. The computer we had at that time, that was far back in the 80s, that was an Apple II still. It was still the Apple II. And out of that grew a whole series of contractual relationships between Sanders and the training and emulation divisions in the Army. And I think it was the Marine Corps we had a number of contracts with. So you never know where something winds up eventually. More recently, in the late 80s, 89, 90, I decided to go back into doing things. And one of my associates and I built about 7 different things that are very much interactively, very much similar to what's going on in the Wii nowadays. We demonstrated for guys like Abel Heitkamp, who was VP at Konami, then still is, I think. And he came with 2 or 3 Chinese manufacturing tags that spoke to each other in Chinese and took lots of photographs of Rick Gelf and a helmet with a lip mic and an eyepiece. And nothing came of it. So here we are, in the last 2 or 3 years, and I'm gratified to see all this stuff come back to life in a week.
Okay. Would you like to take some questions? Would you like to take some questions from the audience?
Oh, sure, anytime.
If there are any. Do we have any questions?
Yeah, my question is, Nolan Bushnell often gets the moniker, kind of the creator of video games, or the father of video games, when in reality we all know it was Baer. How do you feel about that?
Okay, the question is, Nolan Bushnell always gets the credit for being the father of video games, and we know what we do. How do you feel about that?
Well, clearly, Bushnell, grew on his experience in as a barker in the summertime while he was going to college in an arcade environment, and came up with the idea of, and secondly, he played Space War at college, like everybody else did back then. And he put 2 and 2 together and said, wouldn't it be neat if we can put a computer in a box, have people play Space War while they're dropping quarters into a slot. That was the genesis of the arcade business. So there's no question that he deserves credit for having created the arcade video game business. There's no argument or question about that. He also walked away from the concept of putting a computer into a box because that turned out to be impractical for cost reasons and size reasons, and built stuff out of the street. He stood out integrated circus. When I say he, his team was guys like Ted Dabney, people that not even associates, or he became a member of the team there where they built a computer space. So there's a direct line between today's arcade game and Bill was working on an arcade back in the 60s Academy, and another person that became his chief engineer, Steve Bristow, and they decided to build, and Nolan told Alan to build a ping pong machine, and of course Alan did a great job. Pong machine was a great success and started the industry. You know, within the first year, in '74, they did about 77,000 games on Atari. Unfortunately, the competition was there, and I think in Midway Valley did about 10,000 knockoffs. Chicago Dynamics said about 6,000 or 7,000. So they're largely business in a big way.
Any other questions?
Can you hear me? Or okay, I was just wondering, what Ralph thought about sort of like this movement in video games to more of like a narrative element, or sort of like getting away from like the pure games that he sort of designed for. You want me? All right. Which one? This one?
This is talking again.
And then they heard me. Hey Ralph, how you doing? I was just wondering what you thought about today's video games. Not necessarily Wii stuff, but a lot of the bigger PS3 or 360 games that include a lot of like narrative, as opposed to just sort of like pure like old school, just like playing the stuff that you were involved with. Like, is it like a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Or like, what do you feel about it? Can it be a video game? It's more like a movie.
Well, a question is like asking which book do you like, which movie do you like. All these genres out there, among there's great stuff, lousy stuff, stuff that's halfway in between. I'm certainly in favor of games that have storylines, but it's just one genre. Some people don't like that, but I do. But I don't play games, so I'm pushing 89. Like I say, today's games are so fantastic from an artistic point of view, from a technical point of view, that it just blows you away. It certainly wasn't foreseeable 30 years ago where all this was going to go. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, thanks.
Anyone else? No more questions. So just want to thank you, Mr. Baer, for being here with us and telling your story and answering questions. Again, we have Mr. Baer's brown boxes up front for you to take a look at. And his book, Video Games in the Beginning, is available at the Good Deal Games booth with his signature. If you want to check out, we have a limited edition. So again, thank you, Mr. Baer. And
You're welcome. Have fun. Enjoy the show. Bye.